this is the history of the company and the history of tea.
The foundation that you're very attached to.
Full of nature. Everything you look around here is natural.
The foundation over the years have benefited thousands and thousands of children, youth, men and women with and without disabilities across the country.
He is like a living God to us.
You must not thank me. Thank the good Lord.
ලොකුසටත් අඩම ආදරෙයි ඒසයි ඉඳ තමයි මේ අපිත් හොඳට සතුටින් ඉන්නේ
මේ අවුරුදු 10 ඇතුළත ඇත්තටම කියන්න ගොඩක් සතුටුයි 25ක් 30ක් වගේ සෙරිබල් පොල්සි බබාලා අපි Taman තනියම ඇවිදින මට්ටමට පත් කරලා තියෙනවා දැන් මේ කකුල දිගාරේ very good
50කට වැඩි හොඳ ප්‍රතිඵලයක් ලැබිලා තියෙනවා කියන්නේ ඇවිදින්න නැති එක නෑ ඇවිදිනවම තමයි
දැන් මට හරි සතුටුයි මේ ළමයි අපේ පුතා ඉන්න තත්ත්වය අනුව.
I'm here at the Merrill J Foundation in Moratuwa with none other than the founder himself, a gentleman, a business leader, an entrepreneur, a global Sri Lankan, a gentleman who has taken the Sri Lankan name, the Ceylon tea brand globally, but now looks within, for years have been supporting communities, people, children here in Sri Lanka to empower them. And he believes that business is a matter of service and kindness. Mr. Merrill, Fernando, thank you very much for this opportunity and for having us here.
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
I've been walking around the foundation, around the property, a property of 7 acres. What you've done with this property and what you aspire to do to help people amazes me. But I thought maybe we will not talk much about your tea success, the success you've built over the years, but what you're actually trying to do here at the foundation. I've seen people from all walks of life and all kinds of challenges that they face.
People are taken for granted. And there are people, intelligent children, brilliant children, but they have no hope of getting beyond where they are living in poverty. When I started doing business on my own at the age of 32, I began to earn much more money than I could use. So if I needed 100,000 rupees a month, I earned 300 rupees a month. So I decided, what am I going to do? And I want to become a rich man and show off like most people, or maintain my humble life and share it with the poor. That is a lesson my mother taught me. He said, when I was very small, 4 or 5 years of age, she used to say, help the neighbor and share with the poor. And I could see that happening because my mother used to sit in the veranda of a house on a small chair. And all the villagers who go to the shops and come back, stop and talk to her. And she always gave them something, maybe some sweet or something like that. And these people, every time they pass our home, they will give her some bananas, say, or say, my husband caught some fish, I say, fish. And I saw that giving and sharing in that age. My mother used to help the little children in the village by tearing all the goodies I have, get chocolates and cake occasionally. She'll cut half and give away. I said, don't take it away. And she didn't take any notice, but gave it away. Then at this time, when I was making more money than I could use for myself, I said, I'm going to share it. And I gave my staff, I had only 18 staff at that stage in my company. And I called them and said, I want to help you more than your salaries. Actually, they told me I was looking after them very well. We don't need anything. No, I said, I'm going to give all your children the clothes and the books and the pens and pencils you need to school. And the cleverer children, I'm going to give a scholarship fund. And right up to university, I will do all that for you. From that 18 members I had at that stage, today I have about 1,600 in Dilmah factory. Another plantation, we have about 15,000. Every one of those people, those families get that benefit. And I'm humbled to say that among my workers' children, there are doctors, lawyers, and plantation workers who were destined to be the next generation of tea pickers and the next. Some of them are today doctors, lawyers, engineers, judges. And I want to mention one incident I had. We had every 2 years, we have an event to recognize service and give them awards. From 15 years to beyond, we have even 42 years service. That event, when I went, and it's a big event for the staff, they come in full suits, stay in the hotels. And when I walked in, I saw a couple I'd never met before. So I asked my son Dilmah, who is this? He said he doesn't know. I asked other staff, they would tell me who it is. So anyway, we finished all the speeches. And when it was time for me to go up and award the ceremonies, one of my senior staff says, can you let these people speak? I said, yes, certainly. And he said, sir, my parents are tea pickers on near Amuwatte plantation. You paid for my education. I got a first division in the university. I went to law college. I passed out. Today, I am a judge in Jaffna. I want to thank you for this great thing. And I thought that took so much effort and humiliation on that part to say. So the people appreciate that. So what I have done is the right thing by society and the wider community. I thought, what can I do with this amount of money? I'm not used to handling such money, and I don't want to acquire wealth meaninglessly. So I decided to help the poor and my staff first. And I made my business also a human service. And the blessings I have reached from God, received from God, I cannot describe. The more I give, the more I receive. The Holy Bible says, what you spend on the poor is lending to God, and God repays you in abundance. Mine is a typical example of that abundance given by God. So this is part of that abundance. So when I come here and to other places, and I got a larger place than this in Batiklo, then we have got cerebral palsy.
In Rajagiri?
Yeah, Rajagiri and Batiklo.
And Batiklo, okay.
And whenever I see the cerebral palsy children, I change my thoughts, because it's very sad. Now there was at Batiklo, that's the first time I saw him. There was a boy looking very, very old, 7 years of age. Looked an old man of about 60. And the mother says, that is her. He is trying, and these children were at home, looking at the sky, helpless, we can't do anything. You begin to think, why is it that we have, our children have all the limbs and all the good things, what have they done to deserve that? So you become philosophical and then want to do more and more the people.
But it takes a lot also to be able to have a big heart, to be able to share, care and give. The more rich you become, the richer you become, also to have that heart to give.
Yes, yes.
But I understand this property, it has been about 15 years, but when you say since you had a staff of just 18, when you felt, when you knew you had the means to share, you started taking care of them. Was that when the foundation began formally, or did you take?
No, that
did you
was
wait until later?
Before the foundation. Subsequently, the foundation. Actually, I laid the foundation for the foundation. I think in 1962, when I thought I will share with. But since then, it has grown and it has been incorporated. And what I do now is I give a lot of my own income, annual income. But in my group of companies, MGF Group, we have several large companies, hotels, industry, all those. Every one of those companies contributed 10% of its profits before tax to the MGF Charitable Foundation. From September 1st, 2019, I increased that to 15% before tax. So it's a substantial amount that comes in, and we are very happy contributing the money because we get back in satisfaction and God's blessings with the extra we give, and our profits keep rising.
But this idea of sustainability, kindness, humanitarian service, all this you brought together at this center. I wanted to talk a little to you about that because I know we've visited several units. You've thought about making it environmental friendly, and then about students who have challenges, and then a technical school to empower young children. But how does this all come together? Was this pre-planned as a setup?
Sustainability and other technical benefits and programs introduced by my younger son, Dilmah. He is very knowledgeable in all those things, and he advises me. And he often makes huge commitments before I know. So I never say no to him. But because, combined, he and I, now Malik, combined, do all these things. Actually, Dilmah's contribution towards this is enormous.
I know you don't have much attachments to these awards that you have acquired and been recognized with over the years, but globally you have been recognized too, not for the commitment you and the inspiration you share with communities, business leaders here in Sri Lanka. What interests me is also the award for responsible capitalism. That's an interesting award, and also that you were honored with the Business for Peace Award in 2015 in Oslo. Now this was a Nobel Prize which is awarded annually, but what I want to ask you is, now this story we've taken globally, your commitment to charity and support to those who do not have the means that we might be blessed with. But here in Sri Lanka, have you been able to inspire many? I'm sure you have many rich friends.
Oh yes.
So do they subscribe to the same idea? I understand it's all your money that goes into this foundation, but how do you share this with your rich friends?
Well, I have many rich friends. And when I talk to them about doing charity, Many of them tell me, Merrill, you're mad. These chaps, that's karma. We cannot correct karma. I have corrected karma to a certain extent, but I don't go to argue with them when I say it will be a much better world. And when I give talks, many times when I say my final words are, as a humble man, I can say when I make my last journey, I'm leaving a better world behind. And if 20 other people can say that in this country, they would have parted with some of their wealth, a bit of their wealth, and made this a better world for many people.
You're creating a lot of employment opportunities, post-technical education, skills training here. But how about bringing all our business leaders together to do this? Because we talk about so much of disparity, unemployment, and social disparity mainly. We understand there are many other corporates also doing CSR projects, but to create a sustainable solution, not just wait for governments to help the poor.
Yes. Well, there are many others on their own who do a lot of good, a lot of charity on their own.
Individuals or corporates, yes.
Individuals and some corporates. But what is needed is, as you said, get 10, 12 of the corporations to get together and make this a collective effort to spread the importance of caring and sharing. And then, but unfortunately, our business community, if, for example, I approach some of my friends and say, let us get together and do this, they suspect I have an agenda. So I have wanted to do that several times, but my children both tell me, Tati, you do what you want. The center of the big firms get together and say we must help the poor, needy in what we decide certain ways. It will make a big change. Then others will follow.
And we are talking about big companies that we have here.
Oh yes.
Annually.
They can put my earnings in their hip pocket. So
You've been a success. 1950, that's when you were selected among 6 Ceylonese trainees.
Yes,
so
yes.
it's a long journey. It's 2021 now, and you.
70.
Yes.
Yes, 70 years in tea. And as I say, I have dedicated my life to tea and changed the world of tea. Trying to change the world of tea. And Ceylon tea is an unbelievably great product. If you talk to, or maybe now it is fading because we changed the name to Ceylon and to Sri Lanka. But if you talk to 1,000 people, 900 people will know Ceylon tea. Where it comes from, they may not know. When I did research in Australia before I launched Dilmah tea, we did consumer reports. And 9 out of 10 knew Ceylon tea. And 4 or 5 people said, Ceylon, where is Ceylon? He said, in England. Because the British spent so much money on promoting Ceylon tea. Sadly, we did not continue the good work they did for Ceylon tea in promoting and in establishing the quality image of Ceylon tea. Consumer perception throughout the world is Ceylon tea, the finest in the world. But sadly, all the bad systems in the British trading culture, we are still continuing. The plantations have not, we have changed and we are changing. Plantations are sticking to the same system of the worker, the supervisor, Kangani, the field manager, all those are continued. Trading, what do? We sell finished a finished product, which only needs boiling water to drink it, as raw material to traders around the world, making them rich and exploiting our workers and our economy. I tried to change it. When I was only 24 years of age, I thought this is wrong. When I went to England to learn about tea branding and marketing. When I went there, I was shocked and ashamed to see that they bought our tea, these are just numbers, for 10 rupees, mixed it with other countries' cheaper teas, and sold it as Ceylon tea for 25 rupees, for example, or even more. So when I saw that, I said, this can't be. Our workers are paid a paltry sum. They live in line rooms. How can these guys do this? And we respect them so much, British people. I lost all my respect for the British people. And then I said, one day, I am going to have my own brand of tea and give the workers a better deal, give the consumers real Ceylon tea, and I will retain some of the profits in Sri Lanka instead of letting that money go to big traders around the world. 34 years later, I launched Dilmah tea. And I was all the time, I became the center of ridicule in Sri Lanka because all the people, when I said I want to have my own brand, they thought I was mad, you don't have a hope. Even the government got worried because the multinational companies had their representatives in Sri Lanka. And they went to government and said, don't allow him to do what they are doing. They will stop buying Ceylon tea. So I told them, they have already stopped buying Ceylon tea and showed the figures. England bought about 180 million pounds of tea a year in the late 70s. At the time I launched tea, they were buying about 20 million. Today they buy about 3 million. But it's only when the prices drop down. So the value of Ceylon tea has been wasted, has not been capitalized. If we spent the money, promotional money we earned from our tea exports on promoting tea, Ceylon tea, we would have been earning much more than we are doing now. But that is by the way. But these are, the governments should allow the private sector to operate on their own initiatives and leave them alone to evolve proper marketing and promotions program. When the government comes into trade matters, there is confusion. So sorry to say, and what I did with Dilmah tea was emotional for the consumer. Say this man has, and then I named the brand Dilmah after my two sons. Then for promotion advertising, I put my face on every pack. So the people who buy tea in the supermarket are women. So they said, this man has an honest face and he has named after the brand after his two children. I'm going to try that. And all I said was, do try it. And that do try it theme has a huge market value. Because that's all I said. And the people, when I go around in Australia and New Zealand, personally, people shout, do try it. So those are, and what I did was, I prayed to God and said to help me, but I took Ceylon tea to the market to meet consumer expectations of Ceylon tea. Fine quality, beautiful packaging, and sharing the profits with the poor, needy, and the workers. So it's a great story. It's a story, but it's reality. That's why it worked. Ceylon tea did the rest. I was only the postman.
A lasting impression you've made for the Ceylon tea brand through Dilmah globally. This is, as you said, at a time when we never thought about value addition, we never thought about branding, marketing, or the end product itself. But at the time, did you believe you will be able to give birth to a brand that will be this big, this celebrated?
No, because when I got this dream, made this commitment, next day I thought I was a damn fool. How can I ever compete with these people? But several times over the 34 years, I wanted to abandon that. I can't do this, I can't do this. But there was some inspiration, some power that kept me driving, which I said, this is madness. And ultimately, when I launched the brand, I thank God for being so persuasive and keeping me totally committed to launch a brand of Ceylon tea. So whenever I speak, I say, thank God for guiding me.
But we do have tea brands. We have estates to plantation workers. What do you think was the turning point to where tea is today? If we could not break our barriers and move ahead with other competition or other markets, what did we not do right there?
Well, as I said, apart from capitalizing on the good British did for the promotion activity and cashing in on the goodness and the taste of Ceylon tea, all the bad habits we followed. Plantations systems are done the same way as 160 years ago. And trading is the same way, because we should be marketing our tea. But instead, we are supplying tea. That is in bulk. They don't, because our people don't want to invest in marketing. Our people are traders. Those in tea are traders. And traders have no commitment to the country, because you can't. Well, the thinking I have explained to my friends, some of my friends are good traders, but they don't appreciate the great things in marketing, building brands. They say we can't be bothered. But they buy tea, add on 2-3 rupee, or maybe 1 rupee even, and sell raw material. And that raw material is in creating millionaires outside our country. Like recently I talked to some of them, and I am now trying to get 5 or 6 people and say you must change and help them to brand, help them, because I am alone.
The wealth of knowledge that you have gained over the years through experience, through developing on your own, is there any way that we can share it with the rest of the industry in such a way where the government makes concrete efforts, where the industry makes effort to move ahead? Because we're talking about marketing and branding. We talk about Sri Lanka tourism as well. I suppose the same theory that you've done, same experience that you've done with Dilmah to go global can be utilized here to follow for Sri Lanka tourism too.
You know, marketing when I, for building my brand and getting Dilmah into the market, I didn't get once, I got $119,000 from the tea board as support. But they were paying out millions and millions and millions of dollars on promoting foreign brands. Now we had tea centers in London, in so many other countries. And then there were brands, they are foreign brands. They supported them because the tea board, I was on the tea board in the 80s. I had an understanding, I told, and you know, when they appoint people to boards, government boards, nobody has any knowledge of that subject, or few have. When I came into the tea board, I changed things. And there were people who understood what I said. They supported me. But the Secretariat does exactly what they want. Because most of I have been on the Ceylon Tea Propaganda Board and on the Sri Lanka Tea Board, both. And what was decided and what was done was completely different. Because the board of directors say, all right, this is the decision. They don't follow up. They can't follow up because they have so many other works. So the Secretariat runs the show. So if you know what they did to prevent me, I'm writing my biography, it's in the whole chapter in that, what prevent me from succeeding is unbelievable. So otherwise, and then I spent all my money and created this. Then I put forward a proposal to the tea board to create value addition. These are the incentives. And the tea board accepted that, implemented it. But our exporters gave all the benefits away. I said, you know, you will get a rebate of 20% on your FOB price so that you can use that money to start slowly promoting and building up brands. But instead they discounted it on the export price, gave it to the buyer. So I said, now stop. So then they said, no, this is a good thing to stop. I said, no, stop. So they had no, at that stage, normally the feeling is that I have made a success. Okay, now I don't want anybody else. I wanted everybody else to share my expertise and got the government to give incentives. They were of no use. And when I talked to them privately, they said, Merrill, we can't think of tomorrow. We have to make a living today. So with that kind of thinking, now there are exporters, very wealthy people, but they have no commitment to branding and developing, looking at the long-term interests of the tea industry.
Are we still too late to? Are we still too late?
No, it's not too late because you see, this is a long story. There are three big brands, and their strength is in discounting. And you know, I will have a whole heap of critics on this. All the problems of the world are because big people, like small people also, are never content. If the big traders, whatever it may be, tea, rubber, coconut, spices, anything, say, okay, I have got 50% market share. I have enough. No, they want 100%. How do they get the 100%? By reducing their prices so that other man goes out of business.
Eliminating the rest of them.
Eliminating the others. So when they get to near 90%, they are themselves broke. When you reduce your price 25%, the quality of tea drops 30%. Sooner or later, their loyal customers say, this doesn't taste right, and go to another brand. That the brand does the same thing. We are now with the big giants who want to capture the market. Then the supermarkets, equally greedy. They also want discounting to get send the other supermarkets, their competitors, out of business. So that is the trouble in this world today. So if they say, well, I have got 50%, that's enough for me, others will survive. No, they want 100%.
I like to come back to the question on tourism and branding, because I think we in Sri Lanka as a brand needs and a destination, whether it's a product, services or a destination, it's very important that we at least take a little bit of your knowledge and expertise to move ahead. But how do we replicate this success in branding Sri Lanka? You talk about how we brought our standards down, disregarding the quality, whether it's a premium product, premium quality, or the destination itself, to retain that essence.
Well, I was on the Sri Lanka Tourist Board, and there were 15 members on the board. So, I know if there are 15 members on a board, nothing will work, because everybody who knows tourism, who doesn't know tourism, will want to express an opinion. All those opinions are expressed. Ultimate decision is not right. So I submitted a proposal to the minister. Break this up into 5 subcommittees. One to handle marketing and promotion, one team. Other team to advise the board on opportunities in tourism. For example, there are sites all over the country. You should not have to get people to come and say, I have this place, can you develop? That I said you should identify those. And when an investor comes, they go to that team, he will say, these are the things we have, and this is what we propose to you. Then, like that, so that each one studies particular aspects. I made a big note on that. And I said, have department. Great idea. Nothing happened. Now, the tourist board is quite dynamic. They have got a good chairperson. Kemal is very, very aggressive. So, she is Malik's wife. So she is stepping on so many people's toes, but getting jobs done. And I'm sure she'll do well for tourism. Unfortunately, this COVID upset tourism, but when I'm sure when all these COVID restrictions disappear, tourism will bounce back in a big way, because people are waiting now to get out of their homes on holiday. So tourism will bounce, and there are certain things, tourism can do things like food, say Sri Lankan food festival, or 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, then street food, and you can do so much excitement around that.
To brand the nation, because as tourism also for years what we've lacked was proper branding. We keep changing taglines, we keep changing our identity, what we offer to the people. So with your consistent policy and that branding strategy, which is why I wanted to ask you about how we can revive tourism and tea. We're talking about an age-old industry, an industry that has taken Sri Lanka to the rest of the world.
Yes, that is true. And I had given a plan to promote Sri Lankan Airlines, tourism and tea, put the 3 budgets together instead of getting each budget spent separately. That we have massive budget and 2 things.
This was recently? You made this proposal recently or to a previous administration?
No, that proposal was the previous administration. Now, I'm just writing one to give Kimali. And Malik is on Sri Lankan board, so I suppose they can all get together and do something. We have a fantastic country, beautiful. As somebody said, foreigners say, you plant a stick, it'll grow. Very fertile soil, good people, but
I like to come back to your charitable foundation. You yourself, from humble beginnings to now, to as we said, to share, care, to empower mostly. I spoke to a few students and I also visited a few units prior to this interview. I was fortunate enough to see what they really gain out of this foundation. It's amazing what you've done. Why have you brought together students to give them education, and also there's a culinary school? Is there a job market created for them, or do you have your own? Do you absorb them to your own companies?
Now the IT people, they find that is IT is a much sought after. People for all the companies, they are switching to IT slowly, and we have got this voice every 4 months or every month, and it's really available for jobs. And the chefs, young chefs, they get the same way, because education of any sort, IT or cooking, provides a future in our country. With tourism and all the country progressing, there you are ready-made jobs. And as I said earlier, when I give the awards for the chefs, there are women, mothers falling at my feet. This fellow was drinking kudu, didn't come home, nothing. Now, God bless you, what you have done.
The Peace Center, that's an interesting unit within the foundation. I understand that you have many mothers and children who come together to the Peace Center. And when you say Peace Center, the first thing that comes to mind is reconciliation, and also healing from the wounds of the past in the country. So what do you really address here?
Well, what I would suggest is that you talk to the team, because I don't think it's fair for me to talk, but I do know from the reports I used to get after that, I said, I don't know what that is. Each one's individual. I have heard some amazing stories where people come for counseling and come and tell them, my husband is assaulting me, or some stories like that, or my wife is going to divorce me in court. And they have made up, and there were some good cases who was. Ask them, I'm sure they will tell you. You'll find that very interesting.
I'm sure you have much to share with other business leaders, entrepreneurs, the youth of this country. I don't want to take more time from you. You've given us an amazing opportunity. I'm honored to be here. But at the same time, as concluding remarks, I would like to ask you what you want to share with entrepreneurs. I'm inspired by your journey, and today I've seen the charitable foundation, I've seen the property, and I'm amazed about what individually we could do to help others. It could be something small or at this level, but it's about the heart to do it.
Yes, if you begin to feel that there is something beyond this world, and then you begin to think differently. And my religion teaches me the good you do will be rewarded in the next world. But when entrepreneurs, young or old, begin to think, okay, I have done something good, and if you feel the country is going to benefit from what I did, not only my benefit, then you your focus goes beyond you. And you say, now I have done this, and that is benefiting, this is benefiting, this is benefiting, the country is benefiting like that. if you take me out of the equation, you can do a lot of things.
Still love swimming?
Yes, I do. I swim. I play a lot of tennis, and for sometimes we played tennis at the 80 club, and on Saturdays we would book courts, and we had regular foursome, and we book a tennis court for 4:30, and go to the club. After work, we worked 6 days then, about 12 o'clock for a beer. At 7:30, we are still drinking beer. Those are the good times we had.
Yes, certainly. A lifetime dedicated to tea and charity, I would say, continuing to inspire many others and making an impact in as much lives as possible. I think I'm deeply honored to have had this chat with you, to learn from you, to hear from you, and I'm sure this interview will also be able to help inspire as many individuals, be it individuals who lead corporates or just their households. But I've seen a great number of people who have benefited from this charity, read about them, and I thank you for the service and the inspiration that you give us.
You're most welcome. And I'm honored that you decided to look around the foundation's activities, and the opportunity to talk to you, speak with you at this interview is of great value to me. And thank you very much for spending so much time with me, and may God bless you.
God bless you too, sir. A truly global Sri Lankan, Merrill J. Fernando. Mr. Fernando, the founder of Dilmah Tea, the founder of the Merrill J. Charitable Foundation, the former CEO of Dilmah, and today inspiring many lives, empowering children, women and youth. I'm here at the Merrill J. Charitable Foundation, the center in Moratuwa.